Hey everybody, it's June 15th. Welcome. I'd like to take some time to address a lot of the misinformation and the dumb shit coming from white people's minds on Twitter. I sent a tweet out to Captain Bonespurs after his, consistent lies. What's changed? Almost 4 years. To come on down and check out CHOP, the Capitol Hill organized protest. It used to be called Chaz, the Autonomous Zone, but a lot of idiots were getting confused, like, oh, are they trying to secede from the United States? Like, no, you dumb motherfuckers. They're defending themselves from the tyranny of the state. From cops who were tear gassing and macing children in the streets of Seattle. Cops screwed up. They've been part of a corrupt system that has put them in a situation that they are the bad guys, and they will be the bad guys until the system changes. The violence has de-escalated once the cops left, once the East Precinct of Seattle was shut down and all the cops left. The violence subsided. In this organized protest, they have their list of demands that they want from the state, which are very reasonable, and they keep waiting. And I received a tweet from Mary Montega after I responded to the president. She says, they don't have a right to shake down businesses, vandalize public property, block public roads, and ask for people's IDs. Okay. Just like the cops don't have a right to do any of those things, except maybe ask for your ID in certain situations and block public roads for safety. But everything else the cops have been just as guilty of. And I understand your tweet, Mary. There's always concerns with lawless, quote-unquote, lawlessness. But for the most part, these neighbors are taking care of themselves. And I think you're afraid, Mary, along with everybody else out there, the established system of the police that has defended your institutions and has defended your privilege is no longer going to work. You've killed too many American citizens. So we need radical changes. We need to change the police budgets. Now, defund the police, unfortunately, a lot of motherfucking stupid people are like, you mean get rid of all police and fundamentally change our Western society? How could you suggest such a thing? Listen, you dumb motherfucker. You're using that to skirt the argument. The argument is police departments have way too much money that is used to oppress the American people. It is used to oppress the American neighbor, their neighbors. Riot gear, tanks. This is a joke. The money used for these budgets that militarize our police can give more equipment to our medical staff, more money for schools so teachers don't have to use their own private funds to pay for supplies. Maybe pay for some infrastructure, maybe provide a couple more jobs, all sorts of things that will reduce crime. The allocation of these budgets will make it necessary for the community to take care of itself, to handle mental health, to handle all these different situations that unfortunately today we just call 911 and have the cops take care of it. And they don't have the proper tools to take care of that. If you have a hammer in your hand, everything looks like a nail. The police are not equipped to handle these type of situations. It seems like they come in there because they have a gun. They're the middleman that has the gun. And this is not a fair critique or argument because I'm sure there's many police officers out there that would defend or present the ideas of why an organized protest or an autonomous zone has all sorts of perils. And when I think about those perils, I think about people that are discounted, not seen, not heard, or taken advantage of in a situation like that where the state, the proper structure of the state is to come in and be the middleman to rectify any grievance in between the two citizens. Well, then who steps in when the grievance is between the state and the citizens? The state being the police officers. It takes a collective group of citizens to stand up against tyranny. It takes a collective group of citizens to organize have a list of demands of what they want to improve their community, and to do it. I don't know what's going to happen with the Capitol Hill organized protest. What I do see happening is so many old white fucks being scared because they know all it takes is for their local police department to not answer the call. And then the millions of us that have had the corporate oligarch boot on our necks are coming for you. I am enthused. I am empowered to see so many people continue the protest, the marches, and the cause. Black Lives Matter. We have seen 2 men be hanged. They were lynched. The cops dismissed it, saying that, they were suicides. Really? Suicides in the same night, 50 miles apart, in California, hung from a tree? What kind of suicide is that? Why would you suicide using symbolically the worst hate crime done against your people? I think those guys were lynched by the KKK, and cops tried to cover it up. Or somebody did something. But come on, folks. And I'm really glad the public has seen through the bullshit and are tired of the bullshit. A voice that I always cling to in the darkness is Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle is authentic. And his 846 special, his 846 presentation on YouTube, were the exact words needed to hear from everyone that cut through all the bullshit. And it's today. We are living the consequences of slavery today. It wasn't just yesterday. And when I was younger, when I was really dumb when I was younger, I wasn't exposed to the visceral violence that is captured on camera, what the cops have done to these fellow American citizens. But I would, as a kid reading through textbooks, I'm like, wow, slavery was such a long time ago. I'm glad we got past that. No, we're not past it. We are still living the consequences of it as a festering wound. And the only solution I have seen in my lifetime that would work to help heal this wound is reparations. Reparations was a program that the Germans used after World War II in order to heal and provide reparations for the Jewish people, but also to heal the German people. That guilt, that pain of conscience that is still on the grandchildren and great-grandchildren of the Germans. So they don't forget, so they don't slip back into those ways of tyranny. And now America is going through what Germany was going through in the 20s and 30s. There's just so much misinformation out there. I get so pissed seeing these tweets from these dumb fucks that have no idea what they're talking about when it comes to Capitol Hill. So if you want to know what's really going on in Capitol Hill, ask somebody who's living there. And if you don't know anybody, ask me, because I have plenty of friends that live up there. I'm further south. I'm south side Seattle. I'm near the airport. It is super chill. It is quiet. I live on top of a big hill. And most of my neighbors are from East Africa. There is a Muslim center that used to be the community center just up the street from where I live. It has been very peaceful. And I'm very happy that it has been very peaceful up here. And I'm glad that my black neighbors and black friends that live near me haven't, at least that I know of, haven't had any incidents within my neighborhood. But if there are, I'll do what I have to do as a citizen to defend my neighbors, period. And defend myself. And that's really the key here, folks. We are humans. You have to imagine yourself in the shoes of the person that's being oppressed. And if you can't do that properly, if you don't know how, I recommend art. And I recommend one specific artist, Spike Lee. Watch every single one of his films. And if you don't have the time, then watch his latest film, Da 5 Bloods, on Netflix. Currently, my top film for 2020, as we're halfway through the year. There's so much that I want to say about this film and this experience. But at the possibility of spoiling anything, I will not dive into the film. But I will say this. There were so many moments where I saw myself in that exact situation, or I saw myself as Delray Lindo's son. I saw myself in the plight, the paradigm, and the injustice that those characters had gone through, and the representation of the Vietnam War and the black soldier. And it's still staying with me. The images, the story, the plot, the theme, it'll never leave me. That art has helped deepen my empathy for all humans. Delray Lindo has such a performance. I can't even describe a comparison. I don't know if I've ever seen somebody portray a character in that much pain, that much mental anguish. So Mr. Delray Lindo and Mr. Spike Lee, I mean, this has Oscars written all over it, but thank you. Thank you for making a piece of art that deepens the story of what it is. You know, not to being a black American, yes, but to be an American. To be an American. Because black history is American history. The black soldiers that fought in Vietnam, they're American soldiers. And the people that have been killed by the cops are American citizens. And what Dave Chappelle said in his special, if you can't see that, if you can't see that we're still living in it today, the repercussions of slavery and tyranny, then you're just not going to get it. And that has been really the definition or the mantra of so many people on Twitter that are getting it wrong. All right, folks. I wish I could deliver some more happier news, but we are still in the thick of it. We're in the thick of a pandemic, and we are in a revolution state as we get ready for another Great Depression. Whew, heavy stuff. Well, I implore you, I invite you to look at more information online when it comes to the Capitol Hill zone, the organized protest. I do hope that it ends peacefully and the demands are met by the state. But let this be a warning to you that 1 4-block, 6-block radius has all of the corrupt authorities shaking in their boots Imagine if you had more of these organized protests. For so much more. What if we do pass these laws that fundamentally change policing for the betterment of all communities? What should we do next? You know what I think we should all do? Clean water for Flint.